Welcome back to Naval Gazing at Camp David. This week's guest yacht was the first offering from the performance yard on the banks of the Tiber outside Rome, the Seacat 37. Today, we're going to review its specifications, pricing, and layout against three similar new vessels, do a full tour asking what would Sylvia say, naval gaze, innovation, or adjustment that might make live aboard just a little easier, have a look at the used market at 3 to 5 year old comparables, both catamaran and monohull, and finally, give it a Dave score and compare it with the other yachts that we've looked at so far. All this fun will be sandwiched between a wine pairing from the same region as the guest yacht and a look at a favorite sample of art from the same region. Yachts, waves, ideas, wine, and art. What a civilized way to spend 30 minutes. Starting high above Vancouver, Canada, we fly across the Atlantic through the Med and across Saudi Arabia to the UAE and home of last week's future yacht at Portofino Marine Services HQ in Dubai. From there, we head back north, up the Med to the western shores of Italy and the banks of the Tiber just outside the Eternal City and the Seacat Catamaran yards. For this week's wine pairing, we head further north into Tuscany and the wineries of Monte Antico. Our wine pairing this week is Monte Antico Supremus Toscana 2016. 75% Sangiovese, 15% Merlot, and 10% Cabernet Sauvignon. Monte Antico, which means ancient mountain, is Neil and Maria Empson's wholehearted tribute to Tuscany. Their 40 years of passion and experience led them to create their own label along with their good friend Franco Bernabei. Sorry about that. A master in Italian winemaking. Together, they have styled the quintessential Tuscan grape Sangiovese, highlighting all it has to offer and complementing it with just enough Merlot and Cabernet Sauvignon to bring it all together. The wine is fermented in stainless steel tanks at 77 degrees Fahrenheit, followed by maceration on skins for 15 to 20 days and malolactic fermentation for 7 days. Once the wine is blended, it is aged 14 months in barrique. Principally Allier oak. 70% of the barrique are new. Supremus ages 6 months in bottle before release. Now, barriques are the barrels traditionally used in Bordeaux, holding 225 liters. The wood for Bordeaux comes from the Allier forests in Avignon. The required characteristic of Allier oak was, of course, that it would make good ships to kill the British, not its smell. Barriques are very much smaller than the barrels used in the producing Barolo or Barbarossa, generally 20 times smaller. And while these bigger barrels are treated and introduced carefully to fine wine maturing to ensure that no element of the wood gets into the wine, the barrique is often used new with the deliberate intention of adding wood substances to the wine. The smaller barrel presents a greater surface to give to the given quantity of wine, so all effects take place more quickly. Supremus Toscana 2016 is a very deep crimson with amber purple reflections, extremely intense, persistent bouquet showing elegant nuances of violets, red berries, cherry, and toasted vanilla, as well as a balsamic leather and mineral notes and hints of chocolate, black pepper, and cinnamon. This exquisite range of aromas is confirmed on the full, rich palate, laced with velvety tannins and a long, lingering finish. Oh, that is good. Let's go have a look at that boat. Looking at the outside of this yacht, it really is handsome. Incredibly chiseled bows, a very masculine, aggressive look, even in a short envelope as this 37. She really does look elegant, smooth, and sleek in every angle. The unique side hull windows really make quite a statement. And although the side saloon and front saloon windows look sleek and low. Inside, they cast quite a lot of light around the cabin. It really is a very nice yacht. Now, moving into the numbers. So we are this week comparing the Aventura 37, the Sea Cat 37, the Nautitech 40, and the Dragonfly 40. And as you can see, the Aventura has the greatest sail area at 94 square meters, with the Nautitech next at 91, the Dragonfly at 90, and the Sea Cat taking up the rear at a surprisingly low 78 square meters, but don't let that fool you. Moving on to the cabin top, I couldn't find, well, I found one line drawing sort of with the Dragonfly 40, but you do get a sense of the width here. I mean, the Dragonfly, incredibly slender amas and that slender center hull. The Aventura, expectedly fairly wide, but still a good cruiser. The Nautitech, you know, you've got that sort of balance between wide hulls for shape and some performance. But the Sea Cat is an obvious performer just by the profile. Moving into the saloon, you can see the Sea Cat has a reasonable, well thought out saloon. There's nothing fancy here. Looks, it's going to have less square footage, I would say, than the Aventura 37, although it's wider but not quite as deep. Probably bigger overall than the Nautitech 40, and the Dragonfly, of course, is quite limited, although to really look at it properly, you'd have to measure the square footage because it's narrow and long. As we head down then into the actual hulls themselves, you can see that the Sea Cat definitely has the slimmest hulls, although surprisingly the Aventura 37 isn't really fat like you'd expect them in more of a cruising cat. So Sea Cat, Aventura look about the same. Nautitech looks a little beefier, and of course it's hard to compare anything to the Dragonfly. Looking at the numbers in the top line here, we've got the Sea Cat at a surprisingly reasonable 300, and you'll see why I say surprising. The Aventura is only a little bit below that at 268. Then you hop up 100 to the Nautitech 40 at 406, and another 100 on the Dragonfly at 509. When you head into the actual length overall, of course, the Dragonfly is the longest at 40.66 feet. You've then got the Nautitech at 39.3, the Sea Cat at 36.4, and the Aventura taking up the rear at 35.8. When we're looking at beam, again, the Dragonfly, of course, with its hulls out, you're looking at a significant beam there. But you've got the Sea Cat at 5.84, the Aventura at 5.94, then the Nautitech at 6.9. The actual draft, of course, the Dragonfly is the lowest at a minimum of 0.7 meters. Among the others, you have the Aventura, surprisingly, the lowest at 1.2. Then you've got the Sea Cat at 1.3 and the Nautitech at 1.35. Looking at displacement, so here's where the Sea Cat is amazing. So you've got the Sea Cat at 5 tons. You've got then the Dragonfly at 5.6 ton, but again, it's a overall a smaller occupancy space than the Sea Cat. So the Sea Cat at 5 ton, the comparables are the Nautitech at 8.5 and the Aventura at 7.9. So you've got this cat that's only 37 feet, and it's a full 3 ton to 3.5 ton lighter than the comparables. They've done an amazing job on this. As we head towards the tankage, Aventura leads the pack at 500 liters each. And then you'd have Naughty-Tech at 400 and 600 for fuel and water respectively. Next is the Seacat at 200 and 300 fuel and water, followed by the Dragonfly at 150 and 250. Moving to the second slide here in the hull material. Again, this is where the Seacat really amazes. Foam core sandwich construction, vacuum infused epoxy vinyl resin, and quadraxle e-glass. By far the most exotic or the strongest hull of the bunch. Now let's head into the actual performance ratios. So sail area to displacement, you've got Seacat well in the lead here at 2903. Not even the Trimaran, the Dragonfly, beats that. It's at 28.33. So your sail area to displacement is even with the modest sail area that we saw initially is extraordinary at 2903. So 28.33 is the Dragonfly, 24.1 is the Aventura 37, followed by 22.2 on the Naughty-Tech. Heading to displacement to hull length, again, the Seacat leads the bunch. Remember, this is like golf lowest score wins. So you've got 102.03 for the Seacat. Closest would be the Dragonfly, not to be a big surprise, at 107. Followed by the Naughty-Tech at 140, and this shows the Aventura's Achilles heel at 169.46, although all of them still rated as light. The Bruce number, again, Seacat wins 1.35. Next closest, Dragonfly 1.33. Again, we're comparing a 37-foot cat with a 40-foot Trimaran. So what Seacat have done here is quite extraordinary. Aventura here is at 1.23, doing quite well. And the Naughty-Tech 40 at 1.18. If you're enjoying what you're seeing so far, please hit a subscribe, hit a like, and share this out with a couple of like-minded sailors. Gentlemen, please get your wives to subscribe and like and leave a comment of encouragement for Sylvia and the circumnavigation project. Lady sailors, please grab your friends, subscribe, and leave those woman-to-woman comments for my wife. Thanks very much. Okay, heading on board. What would Sylvia say? Well, I mean, everything about this yacht is very purposeful. You can see those helms at the rear. Again, I'm a little mystified why monohull sailors come onto a cat and all of a sudden are wildly concerned about shelter at the helm when they're sitting out in the wind on a monohull and it's all manly and good. I actually like the location of these helms. It gives you a good sense of the vessel itself. You can see over the side nicely. You can see behind you very easily. Matter of fact, just a quick glance to the side and you see the water moving between the hulls. Really like this sort of minimalist position. Wouldn't mind if they, were on a sort of Versa helm and could shuffle inside under some shelter if necessary. But again, you have tablets and such where your autopilots are all controlled so you could, manage the boat from just about anywhere. Heading up the side, looking up the side decks, very clean. Look at the way all the lines are nicely hidden. There's no spaghetti to trip you over. You've got nice sugar scoops there with a great position for the life raft for quick release. The cockpit, the cushions, they have the wrinkles and stuff. You know how I don't like that so much. But the actual canopy for the cockpit, nicely fared, nicely finished. Some nice inset lighting. All looks very elegant. I like the colors of those wheels as well. You can see, you almost have that view that you have on ORC there because you're so close to the side of the hull and you're so far back. It's really quite nice. Moving into the actual saloon. Look at the quality of the woodwork in here, the fiddles, the nice Corian countertops. It really does have a sense of high Italian quality. I think they've done a lovely job here. And you can see, although the windows and ports look quite slim from the outside, they cast fantastic light. You also have a nice opening port in the very, very front to create a nice airy breeze through. I do like the passageway down into the hulls with the doors that close over and the top that comes down. I think that's quite cool. Very, very maritime-ish. Now looking at the actual berth here, remember this is a 37-foot yacht. That's a nice berth. And you've got lots of ventilation both above, behind, and the side. Nice little settee here. Again, 37-foot yacht. You got a nice little settee there. Lots of cupboard space moving back into the actual head. I mean, this is a great looking head. They've finished it off nicely. I like the counterbalance color on the countertops there. Look at that beautiful teak seat in the actual shower area. And it's a good size shower. Nice ventilation hatches and windows in the side there. Everything feels very airy and open and comfortable. The table, of course, in the saloon goes up and down, so you have an extra berth there. If for some masochistic reason you want somebody sleeping in your saloon. And you can see, although quite a small radius, the corners are rounded. So take note, Katana, please. And, you know, overall, a really comfortable feel. And yes, that is Wiley Sharp in the background. Lovely man. Had a great chance to meet him here. He represents the Sea Cats in the U.S. here, and an amazing amount of knowledge of the space. So heading now down into the alternate hull, looking down the stairs. You know, I love the stairs. Beautifully finished, nice little oak capper on them. And the alternate colored floor to the warm wood finish here. I really do like it. Nice feel to the doors. They feel solid. Good looking head here. And, you know, overall, a really comfortable space, especially for the price and the hull material and the performance numbers. Here you've got your VIP suite. Look at all the window space there, the hatches, nice little dressing room seat there. I mean, they've done a really, really good job there. Moving back up into the saloon, another quick look around. You know, fit and fixtures, really good. Those sliding doors, really nice. There's Wiley. And heading back out outside, trying to give you a sense of a profile here. Now, let's do some navel gazing. So we talked, I believe 2 weeks ago, about furling code sails, furling asymmetric spinnakers, and why more people don't use a furler on these sails so that you can put them up before you head out and then quickly from the cockpit release it. Now, what could be better than that? Well, you know me, I am lazy. So what could be better than that? Well, an electric head sail furler, code furler, an electric upwind sail furler. And I've got two different ones that I found here. They're really nice and convenient, good size, built-in handles. You know, you have them on your sail, you pull the sail out, you clip them onto their attachment point. You head back after you've plugged them into the waterproof plug there, and you hit a remote control button, and Bob's your uncle, out comes your downwind sail. We've got two sizes here. You can see one is a little smaller than the other, but these will go up to a full 400 square meters. So quick furling for say 140 square meter code sail is the smaller one. Easy with radio controls, makes flying the sail easy to handle in solo or a small crew. Contained power consumption at 20 to 25 amps under load for the smaller one. And the kit is complete, including relay box, circuit breaker, wired, deck plugging, protection cover, and storage bag. option is wired or radio remote control. And of course, if you're worried about it failing, have a second one there because they clip on and off. The bigger one flies sails like an asymmetric spinnaker up to 400 square meters, top-down furling, minimal noise and low power consumption, and the ability to convert a manual flying sail furler into a motorized one. So I can't think of anything much cooler than that. Back on board for a quick look at the outside here. I mean, she's a super handsome yacht. You would be extremely proud looking back on this as you drive away in your tender. Okay, let's look at some pre-owned comparables. Our first pre-owned comparable would be the Lagoon 40. Now remember, we're taking a formula of base price plus 50% to come up with an approximate sail away. So our approximate sail away on the CCAT 37 is an amazingly low 444.450, so about 450 grand US. This Lagoon 40, 1 or 2 years old, depending on how you look at it, is a 2020. They're asking $338,402. I'm sorry, I'd take the CCAT any day of the week. The quality of that hull, the speed, everything about it is just a much more performance-oriented vessel, and you're not paying much in comfort. Moving to the next one, we're looking at the Bali Cat Space. Again, we're talking, comparing it to a new CCAT 37 at about 450, actually 445, and a 2020 Bali Cat Space is 445. So 2-year-old boat versus a brand new boat. Radically different boats. If you're looking for space and not worried about performance, you're going to go with the Cat Space because nothing can compete with it. But, you know, even me, being more comfort oriented, I'm sorry, I'd go with the CCAT. I just love the construction of this. I love the helm positions. I love the look of it. And I love the knowledge that it's like a mini Ferrari of the ocean. It really is nicely built. Let's look at a monohull to see what the pricing is like there. So where a monohull I tag on, you know, about 10 feet, between 8 and 10 feet to make the livable space on a monohull comparable to the livable space on a catamaran. I don't just look at raw length, it's livable square footage. So here we're looking at an Azzurri 46, it's a 2020, and they're looking for $385. That's a nice boat. $385, you're about 50 under. I'd go with the Cat simply because of the ease of sailing, the comfort, and stability. Looking at a Dufour 46, you're looking at $324. Admittedly, we're still cheaper than the comparable Cat, a real comparable Cat. I would still go with the CCAT here. Okay, moving to the Dave score. Where did she end up? Well, the CCAT, interior elegance, give it a 7. It was really nicely done. Thankfully, on the 37, they didn't have those wildly teal counters that they had on the 48. The exterior, give it a 7. I mean, it's just a really elegant looking vessel. Interior comfort, I'll give it a 7, even though it's a 37-foot yacht. There were a lot of points of comfort in the interior of this. And the exterior, give it a 6. It really doesn't have much more in the, you know, the aft cockpit. I didn't like the wrinkles in the upholstery and such. The quality, I give it an 8. It smacked of really good quality in the cabinetry, in the hull design. Everything about it really felt high quality. Lazy Sailor, give it a 6. There's nothing spectacular there. Condo, give it a 6 simply because of the size. It was a very livable Cat. Geek score 6. There's nothing really geeky. This is just a really well-built, really good performing yacht for its size. Value for cash, I give it an 8. That's where this thing shines. You're getting a well above average quality performing catamaran in a small size for a really decent buck. Moving to Art of the Region. This week we're looking at The Street Enters the House by Umberto Baccioni. The Street Enters the House is an oil on canvas painting by Italian artist Umberto Baccioni. Painted in the futurist style, the work centers on a woman on a balcony in front of a busy street, with the sound of activity below portrayed as a riot of shapes and colors. The first public display of the painting was in Paris in 1912 as part of the first futurist exhibition. It is now housed in the Sprengel Museum in Hanover, Germany. Baccioni was one of the founding members of the Futurist movement. Until 1910, the group concentrated primarily on capturing emotion and multiple states of mind using techniques derived from Neo-Impressionism style. After hearing secondhand reports of the innovations of Picasso and Braque, sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that one, Baccioni and his compatriots adapted their technique to match, incorporating angular lines in the intersecting planes as a way of capturing multiple viewpoints in a two-dimensional image. While this was going on, there was a corresponding shift in what the group was attempting to capture as well. They began to focus more heavily on the physical and the external rather than the emotional and internal. I hope you've enjoyed this painting. I really like the look of this, the colors, the shapes, the expression, the feeling you get from it. The boat equally is wonderful. I think that Sea Cat is an up-and-coming brand. I think it's one to watch. Their focus on quality and style and functionality balanced with livability. They really are an interesting brand, and the fact that Wiley Sharp represents them says enough right there. Thanks very much for watching. Remember, get those ladies to comment, and we'll see you next week. Thanks so much.